Puffy has won something in court when it comes to the lawsuits he's facing with Deleon Tequila. That's how you pronounce it, Deleon. Diddy has won his first round of battles against the parent company of his Deleon Tequila brand, Diageo. According to Billboard, Judge Joel M. Cohen rejected Diageo's request to have the case dismissed or resolved privately via arbitration. I don't know. All these damn lawyer terms. Between the two parties, Judge Cohen made his ruling in the New York Supreme Court on Thursday, September 7th. The case, therefore, is set to proceed in New York Supreme Court and will be open to the public when it begins. This case has always been about getting fair and equal treatment, Diddy's lawyer John Houston said in a statement. Today's decision is an important step in the right direction. Diageo tried to end this action. Today, the judge soundly rejected that effort. Diddy added, "I'm going to fight for fair and equal treatment for everyone. This isn't just about me, and I look forward to continuing this fight in court. We all deserve the same 24 hours. What is that? We all deserve the same 24 hours. That's hilarious. Spokesperson for Diageo responded to the ruling in a statement provided to Hip Hop DX. While we are disappointed with today's procedural decision, it is important to underscore that this is not a ruling on the merits of the claims, which we maintain are false and baseless. The statement reads, "We are currently considering all legal options." Though Diddy originally partnered with Deleon Tequila all the way back in 2013, the relationship began to sour and ultimately culminated when the Bad Boys Records founder filed a lawsuit against the company back in May. In the suit, Diddy claimed that Diageo was racist in the handling of Ciroc vodka and Deleon Tequila. The suit also alleges Diageo's North America division starved Combs' Ciroc vodka and Deleon Tequila brands of resources, while carefully tending to other celebrity concoctions. There are various sections redacted in the filing, but on June 30th, the court determined that the vast majority of the redacted material could be made public, which it was on July 5th. New allegations from the lawsuit paint a picture of mismanagement on Diageo's behalf of both Diddy brands, Deleon Tequila and Ciroc vodka, as well as claims of racist and unfair treatment towards the Bad Boy mogul. Among other things, Puff and his legal team allege Ciroc and Deleon continue to describe as urban brands within the Diageo platform. Diageo planned to give gave the main tequila ingredient to its other tequila brands and allocated none for Deleon. A sloppy paperwork led to a shipment of Deleon being impounded by Mexican authorities. Erratic production has led to repeated shortages of Deleon, including being out of stock at least 10 times in the past year alone. Diddy also claims in advance of the launch of Ciroc's watermelon flavor, he and his team explained that Diageo needed to be careful about watermelon with a brand that is consistently characterized as an urban African-American brand. After Diageo's assurances, Diddy signed off on the watermelon flavor for Ciroc, read the lawsuit. He was adamant, however, that Deleon should not launch any flavor until the public learned more about the brand. Yet Diageo showed up in person to Mr. Combs and his team with a developed watermelon-flavored Deleon tequila. They did this despite Deleon not having flavored tequila, Mr. Combs' consistent objection to adding flavors, and the efforts to educate Diageo about the racial history and connotations relating to watermelon. Wow. That is some wild shit, but here, 50 said this in his interview with Brian. Shout out to Brian. 50 owns Le Chemin du Roi and Branson Cognac. He owns those. Like, he is the head guy that if someone says this, someone says that, he's the one that approves it or not. What this is a big company owns Diddy's smaller companies. It's like Google owning YouTube. Like Google bought out YouTube. Google's owned by YouTube. Google owns a lot of different companies. What's another example? NFL owning all these teams. The NFL, and then the NFL is an association that owns the rest of these teams. That's basically what this shit is. So when, if this is all true, obviously watermelon flavor, we all know what, that's attached to African Americans. They just like watermelons, whatever the case may be. So I could see what Diddy's saying. The fact that he didn't want a flavor coming out before the actual liquor was, known more, because that's the thing. Before you release flavors of something, you have to first get the first fucking flavor popping, or the first liquor popping. That applies to everything. Like Red Bull. The first can of Red Bull, the original flavor, it took a while before they started releasing new flavors. Man, that shit took forever. By the time new flavors started coming out, it was probably like 30 years after Red Bull came out, like the original Red Bull. So it takes time to develop, flavors and get people educated with the brand. So I agree with Diddy on that end, and then for them to come with a watermelon brand first, like a watermelon flavor first, that's kind of weird. It's like, yo, there's different flavors that you could try for this different liquor. We already did Ciroc, peaches, and all these other fucking flavors. Why we go straight to watermelon on this? And that's something that you tread lightly, because it does have a racist connotation to it, that watermelon in African American culture. So I can see where Diddy's coming from that. That is very weird on their end. And then them running out of stock consistently 10 times in the past year alone, that is wild. And if that's only happening to Diddy's brands that's under the company, Diddy's got a huge point when it comes to that. But that's what happens, man, in business. When you get into business, things can go good for the first year, 2, 3 years, 5 years. And then all of a sudden something happens, new ownership, something happens where you said something that you didn't mean to say, or whatever the case may be, man. Humans are like that. They change every day, and companies change because they're ran by humans. So, this is where I think artificial intelligence can come into play, because artificial intelligence doesn't have, the emotions attached to what humans do. So there's probably roles of this where artificial intelligence can dim down a lot of this bullshit. But at the end of the day, humans program those as well. So, yeah, very crazy story. And the fact that Diddy won the first round in terms of, having the case go public instead of private is huge. Because when it goes public, more people like me, media outlets, are going to start talking about it, and kind of, it's going to make that company look bad, Diageo. It's going to make them look really bad if, Diddy and his team has a lot of, proof that they're doing this stuff, or that there's racism in the company, or whatever the case may be. Even Jay-Z back in the day, I think in 2007, called out Cristal. He said his views on hip-hop has got, as hip-hop culture as an unwelcome attention, said Jay-Z. I view his comments as racist and will no longer support any of his products through any of my various brands. This is back in 2006. So he boycotted Cristal, and I remember that was like the most poppin' shit back then. But if hip-hop doesn't talk about it, yeah, that was some racist shit he said. He basically said, like, hip-hop is just, why are they always in my shit, blah, 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 why are they always, Anyways, that was a long time ago. I remember that. And, Diddy's dealing with this same type of situation. It's unfortunate. But we'll keep our eye on this. It's a very interesting story. And we'll see. Since it's going to be played out in public, we'll be able to talk about this in the open and see what comes out of this. But this is very, very interesting to me. Because I like reading on the business end of things on a lot of these billionaires or multimillionaires, whatever the case may be. Because, if you don't own a lot of the stuff that you're pushing, it's very, very hard to deal with these type of situations. So, try to own if you can. Diddy, I'm sure, is smart on that end, but hey, shit happens. Sometimes some of the deals come out so good. I mean, he was a billionaire. I don't think he's a billionaire anymore. Could be wrong, because the Ciroc thing is kind of going on right now. Yeah, he's worth $900 million. So, woohoo! He lost $100 million. Oh my God, that's so much. But there is some saying that he is worth $1 billion. So as of June, some saying he's worth $1 billion, some saying he's worth $900 million. Regardless, there's no difference in lifestyle at that point, man. Once you make it past like $100 million, there really is no lifestyle difference. At that point, it's like billion, $100 million. What are you missing out on? A fucking yacht. That's about it that you can purchase. Because even at $100 million, you can't purchase one of those big ass yachts that cost like $70 million or whatever the case may be. That's all you're missing out on. Who gives a shit? I could care less. At that point, I just have too much money that I know what to do with. I'll just be donating left and right, and who knows? I might end up going broke myself from all the donations. But we'll keep our eye on this, man. So very interesting.